Okay, on to the back of our notes, the second page. So before kind of continuing on the fourth and final property of exponents, which deals with the negative exponents, I want to just take a second and just touch upon one of the rules of exponents is that if you have anything, so I'm going to be a little bit dramatic there, anything raised to the 0 power is going to equal 1. So if I have 243 raised to the 0 power, that equals 1. If I have 7 raised to the 0 power, that's going to equal 1. If I have negative 12 raised to the 0 power, that's going to equal 1. So anything raised to the 0 power is going to equal 1. So we're going to come back to that a couple times, but I just wanted you guys to have that in your notes that anything raised to the 0 power is going to equal 1. If I have, keep on going with that, let's do some variables. X to the 0 power, that equals 1. Pi to the 0 power, that equals 1. E to the 0 power, that also equals 1. All right, so these are things you might see in your math career, so just kind of introducing you to those now. All right, so negative exponents. We are going to want to represent all of our solutions to these exponential, simplifying exponential equations with positive exponents. So what do we do in the case of having a negative exponent? So let's kind of talk about two things. So this one, if we go back to our rules of dividing, so it would be x to the, and then we would subtract them, so we would get 2 minus 5, so that's negative 3. But if you go back to the original way that we approached this was that it was x squared, which is x times x, over x to the 5th, which is x times x times x times x times x. So we can then go ahead and cancel an x from the top and an x from the bottom, an x from the top and an x from the bottom, and I'm left with x to the 3rd, but in this case, it's in the denominator. So when we have a negative exponent, we're going to circle that negative exponent with the base, and we're going to relocate that into the denominator, and it becomes a positive exponent. All right, and now there was no number in front right here. So if there was a number in front, that number would stay up here, but technically if there's no number there, it's a 1. So we're going to put 1 over x to the 3rd. Okay, so to rewrite a negative exponent as a positive exponent, relocate the base and the exponent to the denominator. And where am I going to have room? There we go. All right, now here's a wild one. What happens if we have something like 7 over x to the negative 5th, where it's already in the denominator and it's negative? Well, then I'm going to take this x to the negative 5th, and I want to write it as a positive exponent, so now I'm going to switch the location that it's in. Instead of it being in the denominator, I'm going to relocate it up to the numerator with that 7, so x to the positive 5th. All right, so we would relocate it to the denominator to make it a positive exponent, or if it's in the denominator and it's negative, we relocate it up to the numerator. All right, so I'm going to pause this right now, and we'll try a couple of the examples.